Trevor Magallanes. His life, career, relationship with Rufa Mae Quinto, the reports about their separation, and the limited facts we have about his sudden death. Trevor Magallanes, the man who became known to many as the husband of Filipino comedian and actress Rufa Mae Quinto, lived a life that, until very recently, had been kept largely out of the glare of showbiz publicity. In public records, news reports and social posts, the picture that emerges is of a private man who moved between life in the United States and ties to the Philippines, who built a family with one of the country's best-known comic actresses, and who navigated personal storms away from the camera center. When news broke of his sudden passing in late July 2025, it startled fans and colleagues alike and reopened attention on a relationship that had already been strained in the months before. Early life and background. Concrete details about Trevor's early life are relatively sparse in major entertainment coverage. Public profiles compiled by various outlets indicate he was born in the Philippines and later lived in the United States, where he worked and raised a family with Rufa Mae for several years. Across interviews, social posts and reportage, Trevor is described as someone who preferred to keep his day-to-day out of tabloid headlines, focusing instead on family and work. That privacy, common for partners of celebrities who choose a life away from cameras, meant few long-form profiles were written about his childhood or pre-marriage career prior to recent events. Career and professional life. Different reports describe Trevor Magallanes in varying professional roles. Several entertainment write-ups and public profiles describe him as having worked in finance or business-related roles. Other pieces, and some of Trevor's own public thank you posts, also tied him to service with law enforcement colleagues in the San Francisco area, suggesting a period of employment or association with local police groups before he concluded that chapter of his life. Whatever the precise job title, multiple accounts portray him as someone who provided for his family and who engaged with his local community in the U.S. in ways beyond the spotlight. Meeting Rufa Mae and family life. Trevor and Rufa Mae's relationship became public in the mid-2010s. They married in November 2016 in a well-attended ceremony in the Philippines, and their daughter Alexandria Athena, often called Athena in coverage, was born the following year. In public posts and throwback messages, Rufa Mae shared snapshots of family life, anniversaries, vacations, and small everyday moments. Those shared images, at times tender, at times ordinary, paint a portrait of a couple who tried to raise a child amid the logistical complexities of one partner's acting career and the other's life abroad. For years their marriage was presented to the public as stable. Fans celebrated anniversaries and milestones with them. Strains, separation and public statements. Beginning in late 2024, the couple's relationship entered a more fraught public phase. Trevor himself posted candidly on social media in December 2024 that he and Rufa Mae were in the process of divorce, acknowledging emotional strain and saying his priority was their young daughter. The admission came amid weeks of social media speculation and leaked screenshots that fueled intense public conversation. Rufa Mae responded at various points by asking for privacy and for accuracy in what was being shared. In subsequent statements after Trevor's death, she clarified that, despite reports of annulment or finalized separation, the couple had not in fact filed for an annulment before his passing. These public back and forths showed a personal relationship being flattened, at times painfully, into headlines and online commentary, something both parties repeatedly asked the public to treat with caution. A father to Athena. If there is one thread that many pieces of reporting and public posts emphasize, it is Trevor's role as father. Multiple statements, including ones issued by Trevor during the separation period, put custody and the welfare of Athena at the forefront. After his death, Rufa Mae shared images and messages that included notes from their daughter and expressions of grief that underscored Athena's central place in both parents' lives. Around the family's statements is a repeated plea to allow the child privacy and room to grieve away from speculative headlines. The reports of his death. What we know and what we don't. News that Trevor Magallanes had died was first circulated near the end of July 2025 and later confirmed by Rufa Mae in an emotional post on social media. The confirmation prompted an outpouring of condolences across the Philippines and among followers abroad. Importantly, however, public officials and family statements at the time made clear that the precise cause of Trevor's death had not been disclosed. Multiple news outlets reported that authorities and the family were still verifying what happened and urged people not to spread rumors. Rufa Mae herself asked the public to wait for factual information from the family, rather than believe or amplify speculation. As of the most recent reporting, no official cause of death had been released to the public, and investigations or verifications were ongoing. Community reactions and tributes. Following reports of Trevor's death, colleagues, friends, and some of his former co-workers, particularly from his time associated with police or community services, issued tributes and condolences. Rufa Mae publicly thanked some of those former colleagues for their gestures of honor and remembrance. The mix of tributes, from entertainment figures in the Philippines to community posts in the U.S., illustrated the two worlds Trevor inhabited: the quieter, private life in the U.S. and the public-facing world connected to his wife's celebrity. Media coverage and the danger of speculation. In the wake of the death, multiple outlets carried cautionary notes from Rufa Mae and from family spokespeople asking people not to spread unverified reports. That appeal was prompted by the rapid arrival of online rumors, as is often the case when a public figure or a spouse of one dies suddenly. These reminders matter because post-death speculation can be hurtful to grieving families and can cloud the facts that authorities may need to establish. Where the family stands now: privacy, grieving, and next steps. Rufa Mae announced she would be traveling to the U.S. with their daughter to attend to family matters and to be with relatives. She repeatedly asked for space and for prayers. She also clarified details about the legal status of their marriage, reiterating there had been no annulment filed. Local and international outlets reported that family members and local authorities were collaborating on the necessary steps following an unexpected death abroad. Matters that can include medical verification, coordination with local law enforcement, and consular considerations when the deceased is a citizen with ties to another country. For privacy reasons and out of respect to grieving relatives, most news organizations have limited their reporting to confirmed facts and family statements rather than speculation. Remembering Trevor. A balanced perspective. In trying to remember someone who is newly deceased and whose life was lived largely out of the celebrity spotlight, it helps to hold both the public and private elements in view. Publicly, Trevor will be remembered in many pieces as the partner of a beloved Filipino actress and as the father of an adored daughter. Privately, those who knew him, friends, colleagues, and family, will remember the habits, kindnesses, and ordinary acts that do not always make the evening news. Being present at a daughter's milestones, working quietly to provide, and seeking to navigate personal challenges in the glare of social media. Reporting around his death has also shown another facet of modern life: how quickly private grief collides with digital rumor, and how families must work to reclaim the narrative enough to grieve in peace. A note on responsible coverage and public reaction. Stories like Trevor's test both journalism and public empathy. The responsible route that major outlets have emphasized: wait for official reports, respect family privacy, and avoid speculation, helps ensure that grieving people are not further traumatized by misinformation. Fans and followers can honor that request by offering condolences without prying, and by recognizing that many details, medical explanations, legal filings, personal family matters, are rightly kept private until a family chooses to share them. Rufa Mae's repeated requests for factual reporting and the family's ongoing efforts to verify details deserve the public's patience and respect. What to watch for next and how to stay informed. If you're following this story, the reliable updates will come from 1. Rufa Mae Quinto's verified social accounts and statements from immediate family. 2. Official notices from authorities where the death occurred, local law enforcement or coroner/medical examiner. And 3. Trusted national news outlets that cite family spokespeople or official documents. Until the family or authorities release the cause of death and any related details, it's best to treat rumors as unverified. Many respected outlets have pledged to update their pieces only when they have confirmation from primary sources. Closing thoughts on grief, public life, and humanity. Behind every viral headline there are human realities. A child who has lost a parent, relatives who must organize farewells, friends who are reeling, and a public figure, Rufa Mae, who must navigate grief under scrutiny. The most humane response we can offer is patience, silence where appropriate, and respect for the family's timetable. Trevor Magallanes' passing is a private loss that became public too quickly. Honoring his memory means letting those closest to him grieve without adding noise.